All right. Thanks for joining me again. A little bit of Kings of War battle report to help you if you didn't get enough Kings of War with U.S. Masters happening this past weekend. Congratulations to Luke Frazier. Great work. So we'll get into this game. So it's my Kingdoms of Men, and I'm going to be playing to help out my friend Sam from the Any War Game Anytime podcast. He's bringing Basileans this time, and we're practicing for the Samurai GT, the Samurai Showdown GT. So we are going to be running those characters I'll go into. So with our testing, we like to run the standard control scenario, and I've pretty much, for me, I'm just going back to my standard Beast Cavalry. I think those are going to be better solution than those chariots. So just go onto my list. It's pretty much the same that you've been seeing me play. Pikes with the Dragon Shard Shield, Foot Guard with the Hammer of Measured Force, Militia Mob, Fanatics with Blood, Knights with Boots, Beast Cav. I've got them with a Thunderous and Vicious upgrade, and I've given them the Indomitable Will. 2 Giants with the Cleavers, Standard Bearer with the Loot, 3 Mounted Heroes, and the Captain unmounted. So 14 units, 25 unit strength. For my opponent, it's Basilia, and a pretty good army at that. 2 men-at-arms, swordsman regiments, very good, just kind of chaff slash board holders. 2 hordes of LOI. He's got them armed with the Brew of Sharpness and the Brew of Strength. He's got 2 hordes of Ogre Palace Guard, 3 heavy arbalists. These things are great at 75 points with the Shattering upgrade. These heavy arbalists are just terrific. He's got 3 Phoenixes, 1 with the Ancient Phoenix upgrade. He's got an Abbess. He's got her with the Gnome Glass Shield. She's on a horse, and she's got the Fury upgrade. Really good unit at just def 6 for 1 turn. And then we've got the Abbess on Panther Chariot. He's got the Trickster's Wand, which is nothing to my army. She's running on a Panther Chariot. So, yeah, 14 units, 22 unit strength here. So, going forward, let's take a look. We've got my army. Everything in my army. I do have my new giant models that I finally got in, and I'm getting them to get worked on and getting painted. So I'm looking forward to having those fully painted. So I have my 3 mounted heroes. I've got my standard bearer, and then I have the captain. She's running as the hero in the center, and then the hooded hero. That is my the hooded hero is going to be my samurai. I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking there. So right here. So for my opponent, he's got his 3. He's got some bases again. He's working on this stuff, but so he does have his 3 ballista here in the gray. He's got his 2 units of Ogre Palace Guard here. The chariot is his sister on chariot. He's got these 2 infantry units are his 2 swordsmen, 2 men-at-arms. The 2 units in the gray are his 2 units of LY. He's got 3 Phoenixes on monster bases. The one with the green base is the Ancient Phoenix. And he's got his sister, his Abbess with the Gnome Glass Shield, who's mounted. And he happened to forget his samurai, so he asked to borrow one of my models. So I gave him one of my little peasants. That'll teach him to bring his models. All right, the setup here. So we're just going to go look at the board. So the board's pretty straightforward, right? We've both of us have kind of set it up here where the middle of the field's pretty open. That's just how it kind of worked out. Nothing is special in the setup here. Just going through, and this is a long view of the board here. So nothing special in the setup here. So all in all, a nice open field. So for him, when he set up, he set up his kind of a little bit of mirroring where he has a Phoenix, 2 of his regular Phoenixes running both flanks, kind of maximize their life. He's got his chariot, and he's got an LOI regiment being in front of one of his infantry. He's got his 3 arbalists kind of sitting in a pool in a good shooting position. Towards the center, he's got an Ogre Palace Guard and a Phoenix, an Ancient Phoenix in the center. Good decision to put his Ancient Phoenix in the center to maximize that Aura of Death. And he's going to have a slightly mirrored position here where he's got his other Horde of LOI and then his other Phoenix, and he's got his infantry running along the extreme flank. Here is his Samurai, and the Abbess is running up the center so they can commit where they need to. So for me, this is pre-captain. So the first thing I have is that, again, as we're setting up, I set my characters up in the center to see what he's doing. I then have my foot guard and the fanatics here. So the foot guard are going to kind of lead up those fanatics. I've got my pikes right in the center. I put those pikes down early. I didn't know what he was going to do. I then have my militia mob running up here and my beast cav running in the center. So you can see I've got kind of my slower units on this flank. And on the right flank, I have a lot more of my power. My beast cav, my cavalry who are towing in that forest, and I've got double giants. And I've got a little militia mob running up here. The idea is that we've got a lot of fast and powerful units that are going to hit and blow through. And I've got my militia mob just going to kind of run up that flank here. So yeah, just to kind of... the center, you can kind of see this is post-captain. Seeing that he didn't put too much in the center, I went ahead and moved one of my knights. I rolled a 2. The other thing I did is I saw him set up a lot of his fast units a lot more heavily on this side. So I went ahead and just captained the pikes over here. This is just basically to protect a flank, right? He's gonna have a very difficult time trying to roll this flank with these pikes right here. So yeah. That's just an overview of the battlefield. And as you can kind of see, he's set up a little more balance where I've committed a lot more of my slow, meaty units on this side and a lot more faster, powerful units on the right side. So I'm planning on crushing this flank and then coming over and using these 3 slower units to really basically slow him down. I think these pikes are going to really stop him from really crushing this flank. All right, top of turn 1, Sam does get the top of turn 1, and he just moves up very conservatively. He's got the range, he's got the speed, and he's got the shooting in my army. So he's very conservative, and him just moving up, probably smart. And yeah, that's just him moving up the army in general. You're going to note here that I don't have any I don't show you any models where I marked wounds. That's because he had an absolutely terrible shooting phase, and all 3 of his ballistas and all 3 of his phoenixes did not do a single wound in my army. So I definitely liked that, to just on the first turn I didn't get a single wound. So some pretty terrible wounds for Sam on his turn. So I was very happy about that. So bottom of turn 1, going through here, the first thing I do is I push up my my infantry. I know that he's going to be shooting. I think these infantry are going to die, but the idea is I want to try and get up here, pressure this flank, and just force him to take out these units. I also, again, just push up the pikes. I angle them slightly so that he's not going to be able to try and get any cheeky flanks on my 2 infantry that push up pretty aggressively. Towards the center here, I know I push up my giants. Again, I have to be very aggressive because I know he's going to outshoot me. So I push up very aggressively with the knights. I keep my beast cav generally back as a good countercharge measure. But I know that he can get some good double charges on my giants. So I actually just use all my heroes to effectively kind of just plug up the works. So he can't really double charge this giant without hitting one of these heroes first, and he's going to be hitting him in cover. So it's good. It makes it very difficult for his giant for him to get any really double charges on me. He did move up his infantry unit, and so he uses it a bit of a bait, but I happily took that bait. So my cav moved up, they popped their boots, they're gonna blow up that unit, and then they're gonna pivot towards the right. You can see they're outside of 9 inches, but I have this guy behind a hill. When they pivot, I've measured it so that those cav are going to be in range of inspiring once they pivot away. So just a little advanced thinking on my part. This is just an overview of the field. As you can kind of see, I've pushed together. I just pushed my army up, and I was very aggressive over here. I know I have to get into combat very fast. So yeah, I'm just being very aggressive and pushing up. Yeah, and so I do run and I blow up this infantry unit. And the other thing I do is I measured this pre-term, but I was able to pivot off of this fence so that these knights aren't going to be hindered when they charge. And they are going to be within their 9-inch inspiring range. Yeah, that's just another picture. You can see I've got my heroes just kind of being annoying and gumming up the works. And the other thing I did is I put my captain, so she's got a good 6-inch rally bubble around here. That's just another picture as well. All right, top of turn 2. So here he just goes ahead. He puts his 2 Ogre Palace Guard into my heroes. I think he just wants to clear these heroes up before they get into the back line, and I get into his cap. He puts his Gnome Glass Shield Abbess into my knights. She is def 6, but I can Banechant those knights. I do feel pretty confident about just one-shotting this Abbess, but it's not guaranteed. So it's a good play that he is going to try and just hold off these knights as long as possible. In here, he just goes and he puts his knight, one of his LY regiments into my giant. Yeah, that's going on here. He puts his samurai. You don't see the samurai, but he does put his samurai into my giant. And that's just showing. So this is just the LOI going into one of my giants. To kind of stop these beast calf, he puts his one of his phoenixes into the beast calf just to hold them off. And he also sends his infantry into my pikes. That's fine. And yeah, that's just an overview of some of his charges pre-damage. Just another overview shot. And here he begins shooting. Oh, by the way, we are putting on here. This is me putting on the wounds from the Ancient Phoenix's Aura of Death. So you can see he is playing smart with that Ancient Phoenix and just getting a lot of Aura of Death going on here. So here he shoots and he rolls terrific. So I thought I did pretty good. Oh yeah, this is just another angle of the battlefield. So I thought he rolled really bad on the first turn, but he also rolled really awesome on the second turn. So he got like 15 wounds on these guys. These ballista hit with they did 9 wounds on their own. So on averages, these 3 ballista are going to do 4 wounds a turn. In one turn, they did 9 wounds. So he's really basically just pulled back his bad rolls to average. So I generally wasn't even annoyed that he also rolled a pretty high nerve, 7 twice. 15, he actually needed an 8 twice. No, it's 7 with shattering, but he rolled it. So I'm not too worried. Like I very well could have seen them gotten shot off the board on turn 2, so it's fine. It's just I knew these guys were going to be a meat shield anyway, but he did kill them. So here he does 4 wounds on the pikes, but they're fine. He does kill this hero, which is pretty much expected. Those other bosses hit very hard. He does 6 wounds, so he rolls really good here, and he does 5 wounds on this giant, so 5 out of 6 hits. So rolls really good here too. Put 6 wounds on my giant. He also that's just showing another wounds here. He does kill my other hero as well, and he just pivots to face that direction. His LOI. Again, these guys are just, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, and they do 10 wounds on my giant. But he actually wavers the giant, but the giant has fury, so I'm okay with that. Bottom of turn 2. So for me, I do have these 2 militia mobs that are both able to get flanks. That's 48 attacks going into the flank. And even though they hit on 5s, that's still 48 attacks. So I think I should be able to one-shot this unit. It's just the counter charge into his Abbess. You're going to see he actually got bumped around, but this captain isn't actually charging. He's just running around. The captain is mighty, so she's actually just standing right in front of the Ogre Palace Guard. I send one of my heroes into the side of his Phoenix just to stop him from shooting. The other thing I do is I know that these guys are dead, so I go ahead and I just sidestep these guys over. Remember, these guys very well may not one-shot this unit, but I know these guys will. So I just basically sidestep them and send the Fanatics in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My Samurai goes into his Samurai. And yeah, that's just another picture of the board. Oh yeah, so that's the captain. The captain actually has moved slightly to make sure that he can't get to those knights. Yeah, I one-shot his Abbas. So I didn't say that. I rolled pretty good. I did get the Bane Chant off on them. So me one-shotting this Abbas is a really big deal because now it frees up these knights. These knights are in range. I can basically get an unhindered charge into this Palace Guard here. So that's terrific for me. Um, I also, between all three of these units, I one-shot these LOI. And then I also one-shot his Phoenix. So these guys are hitting on threes and they're winning on twos with Vicious. So, but I did still roll pretty good. I think I get like 13. So, like I said, I think I had a pretty good chance on one-shotting this Phoenix. And I do one-shot it. But still, just some consistently good rolls. He rolled good last turn. Well, I'm kind of returning the favor now here. Yeah, and I just pivot a little more so just to be ready. The other thing I do here is that when he put his samurai into my giant, I did withdraw 1 inch, and I was able to get into the front of these Ogre Palace Guard here. So I don't know if I mentioned that already, but yeah. So here, my giant goes in here. I do 6 wounds, 7 with brutal, and a roll of 9. So I waver these Ogre Palace Guard, which is terrific. Like, this is a huge thing for me in that even this center is starting to collapse. I know these Ogre Palace Guard over here on the right are going to get killed by my knights, and now I've just wavered these Ogre Palace Guards. So really, these two Ogre Palace Guard are basically going to die without really getting anything. So great on me. Yeah, the Fanatics just completely destroy those infantry, and they actually sidestep over 2 inches. Here, I know these Fanatics are dead, but like I said, it's more meat for them that he is going to have to kill these Fanatics. Yeah, I do 5 wounds into his Samurai, and I waver him, but the Samurais have Fury. The other thing is I actually failed to wound his Phoenix, so his Phoenix will be able to shoot next turn. Yeah, that's just an overview of the battlefield here. Pretty good. That's just an overview. Again, this giant we did kill, but this giant is pretty heavily wounded, so I don't expect that one to live very much longer. Just an overview. And as you can see, this flank is crumbling very fast here. Killing these giants and wavering here, this center is just crumbling very fast. And he's really just got these 3 units. And again, he can kill these units, but it's going to take him a little bit here. And I do have some counter charge capabilities as well. Top of turn 3. So yeah, he combo charges the Fanatics. He needed to do that. These guys are probably dead, but it is forcing him to commit 2 of these units into them. He also moves. He also moves his Ancient Phoenix. So this guy, remember, wasn't disordered. So he just basically parks him right in front of my Beast Cav, so they can't charge. And then I think this is his Aura of Death, by the way. So he is getting more Aura of Death off. And yeah, his Samurai goes back into my Samurai. He goes into the Captain as well. And his Phoenix parks right in front of my pikes to stop any potential flanks, and just in case he doesn't kill them, and he just is probably just going to flame them. They do have 4 wounds. That guy moves around. So yeah, his Ancient Phoenix and those ballistas shoot at my giant, does 13 wounds, 14 with shattering, and they do kill that giant here. So that's expected. He does kill my captain, and he surges forward a couple of inches. So here. Again, I was expecting that. Those Ogre Palace Guards just hit so hard. So yeah, he kills my captain. But well worth it. He does one-shot and kill my Fanatics, which is also expected. So one of the things, he puts his chariot towards the flank. He's expecting me to go in here and basically kill these guys with the chariot. He then turns, this is the front, so he turns his LOI to face this direction to go towards this flank here. Yeah. It's just another overview here of just what's going on. And yeah, he does one shot my guy, which is he definitely rolled high here. So he rolled high and he does one shot my my samurai. So bottom of 3. So I do go ahead and go into that Phoenix. Hitting on 4s, winning on 3s with 30 attacks. There's actually a pretty good chance I do kill. I'd need to roll good, but it's not an outside of the realm of possibility. Like hitting on 4s, winning on 3s, that's going to be an average of 10 wounds, and it's a 16-18. So if I can just roll above average, I can take out this Phoenix. So yeah, that's just me moving in. Yeah, I go into the giant. My hero here that missed the Phoenix. He actually has 16 inches to one of these ballista, so he goes into them. I go ahead and just charge his ancient Phoenix. Also, my militia go into his samurai, hoping to do a wound. And yeah, I do get the charge off into his ogre, so these guys are pretty much toast. Yeah, I do. I actually roll below average with the knights, but the knights just have just so many attacks and thunderous too. It didn't matter. Even if I rolled on the low end for them, I still just killed them. Going forward here, yeah, the giant is able to kill those ogre palace guard, and since I see that I'm out of arc, I go ahead and just turn and face this direction. I know that he's got his LOI over here that are going to come and hit something, so I just go ahead and just turn this giant to be a counter charge measure. I do 13, so it's kind of funny. I actually roll great for the beast cav. I get 13 wounds on him, but I roll a 3, so I only waver them, and so it's kind of funny that I rolled really awesome for them, but I still only wavered him, and he's got a regen 3 up. So, but yeah, there you go. I do kill one of his ballista, and I surge forward a few inches. My militia actually only do 1 wound on his guy, and he passes his morale, so he iron resolves 2. So I've technically given him a wound here, but that's fine. Yeah, this was another really key roll for me that I one-shot this Phoenix, and that's big for me. By me one-shotting this Phoenix, I'm able to turn, and basically his Abbess won't get a flank, and now he has to contend with my ensnare. So it's a really big deal that I just one-shot this unit here. That's going to basically, his Abbess is basically going to have to deal with this, if not just die to it. So really great that I one-shot this unit. Yeah, that's just an overview. You can see what's going on here, where I'm kind of clearing up the center. Here is his LOI, but, I've got hit my giant facing this direction here. It's just another picture of what's going on. All right, top of turn 4. So yeah, he backs off his Phoenix. His Phoenix is wavered, and he regens 10 of his 13 wounds. And he does go into my Beast Cav here. So, yeah, those Beast Cav, this is the sharpness guys. So these guys are hitting on 2s, winning on 3s. Yeah, probably not going to survive. He also, he sends his samurai. He does have to go over the wall because that's the shortest route. But he does send his samurai into my cav, hoping to slow them down. He also does 5 wounds into my giant. So he rolls pretty good. He only has 2 ballistas shooting. So he rolls good on his ballista shots, gets 5 wounds, and he does waver my giant. Yeah, that's just another picture. So these Beast Cav have 2 wounds on them, just so you know. So I know some of these dice are around here. Yeah, that's just me showing the waver on the giant. That's just another picture. And yeah, I forgot to show this. So we didn't calculate the wounds, but his LOI actually roll like absolutely terrible and only gets 7 wounds on the Beast Cav. And the Beast Cav, now he does waver those Beast Cav, but the Beast Cav stick. They have, basically with the waver, they are going to use their indomitable will. So he rolls really bad and doesn't take out those beast cav. His abbess goes into my pikes and does 2 wounds on them, but they're fine. And yeah, he actually rolls good on his samurai and does 4 wounds here. You can see he also did iron resolve. I mean, he didn't iron resolve, but the phoenix, he's at 3 wounds now because of the aura of life, and one of the phoenixes healed him up a wound. But yeah, all in all, a really great turn. The fact that these beast cav, he rolled just abysmal with these LOI, and these beast cav survive. All right, bottom of 4. So here, yeah, with again, these guys have 9 wounds on them. So I basically withdraw 1 inch, and I'm able to get a flank into his LOI here. I send my fanatics into the flank of his phoenix, but they were hindered from coming off the wall, so they're hitting on 6s. So I'm not expecting much. Yeah, and just a counter charge into his samurai. I just counter charge here, and my hero goes into the second ballista. Yeah, and so I do one shot. This was expected. He already had 3 wounds on him, so I one shot the. I also bane chanted. I bane chanted these guys, but still, it's 3s and 5s, so I do kill his samurai. Okay. Yeah, let's just show. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to show here. That me seeing this flank clear, I also do pivot and move my militia mob towards my right corner just to make sure I have this this quarter. And yeah, again, these pikes roll good again, and I one shot. I one shot that abbess. Now I was expecting to kill her in 2 turns. And so I was expecting to kill her in 2 turns, but I killed her in 1. I just rolled great with these guys. It probably doesn't matter in the long run because she probably wasn't going to kill these guys. It probably would have took me an extra turn to kill her, but I killed her in 1 turn, so there you go. Great rolling for me. From here, I just surge forward a couple of inches. Yeah, my hero goes into his ballista, and I waver it. And yeah, so this is the beast cav on his, and I do a truckload of wounds. I do 19 wounds on his LOI, and I double ones them. So it's my favorite rule in the world: double ones on devastated stuff. Yay! But yeah, so. I do 19 wounds, and they're fine, or they're devastated. Top of turn 5. So yeah, going forward, I was still kind of stunned by that. I forgot to take a picture, but the LOI actually go into the rear of those militia mobs on the bottom right. I'll show that later, but yeah, they do kill those guys. Even with 9 attacks, they're hitting the rear of those militia mob. I also, he does send his Phoenix. He regens down to 1, and he goes into the flank of my my Beast Cav. He also shoots my Giant. I think, he does another, it's 13, 14 with, it's 14 wounds with, I'm sorry, he does another couple of wounds. It's 13 wounds, 14 with shattering, but he actually rolls bad, and he only gets a 17. So I think, he rolls a 3 on this roll. So the Giant is actually fine. Yeah, that's just him killing the militia mob and then turning to face this direction. He does have 18 wounds now because the aura of life from the Phoenix does heal him up. From the Ancient Phoenix heals him up 1. And his Phoenix doesn't do great in hand to hand, so he only does 1 wound on the Beast Cav, and he doesn't wound them. So the Beast Cav are fine. Yeah, bottom of 5. So for me, this Giant comes into the rear of his Phoenix, and I countercharge. So I'm hoping to kill this Phoenix now. The pikes, they just run up here. They basically get in the corner of his quarter, my center quarter, and then these two. So I'm putting these pikes in a position where they can basically go a lot of different directions. The other thing I do is I just pivot the knights so that for his LOI, if he does go into them, these knights are actually, yeah, they just kind of pivot here. Yeah, that's just showing my knights. They're getting ready for his LOI. Yeah, I finally do kill this Phoenix, so that's very good for me. And then, yeah, I just, the other thing is that I fail to wound his ballista, so this thing will get to shoot next turn. And yeah, this is the other thing. I just pivot. So I basically, these two units, the Giant and the Beast Cav face, and these Militia Mob, they actually face the other direction in case they need to run in. So it's going to be the last turn, turn 6 this next turn. So I'm basically planning to make sure that he can't grab my center and that I can grab his. All right, top of 6. So yeah, he just goes ahead and goes into the Beast Cav just to take them out. Just fine. He's really kind of lost. Like, he could kill one of my units. He could even kill the pikes. But the problem is that, like, I just have the unit strength now to stop that unit strength 3 from mattering. So he just decides to go ahead and just kill the Beast Cav. It's kind of, again, he's kind of, he only has one unit that can score now. So now he's, like I said, he's not really thinking. He just wants to kill. He just wants to kill those Beast Cav now because he's annoyed at them. So that's understandable. Yeah, he also shoots my Giant. Remember, I didn't wound this ballista. He shoots and does 1 wound on my Giant, but he only wavers the Giant. And yeah, he attacks. He does the more wounds on them, and he does take out the Beast Cav, and he just faces. Yeah, he could have probably killed something else, but like I said, he knows he's probably lost the game at this point, so he's just. He's just kind of, he wanted those Beast Cav dead, so. From here, he did check just to make sure I couldn't get a flank on him from these Cav. I think he actually surged forward or pivoted them, so this is just us checking that the cavalry can't get him in the flank. Yeah, the bottom of 6. So the bottom of 6 is pretty straightforward. I just basically turn the pikes, and I put the pikes, the Giant, and the Militia Mob. Now, they run over here, so they can't get charged. The idea being is that he can't kill any of these units to get my half of the board. And then I also just back up my cavalry. Now, he's not in charge range. We check that. So that I'm going to grab his. So these guys are unit strength 4. He's unit strength 3. I'm basically guaranteed to grab his half. So the only thing I need to do now is stop him from grabbing my center. The most he could do is hit my pikes and tie this area. So yeah, but that's assuming we get a turn 7, of which we don't. So that's just the end of the game that we're showing things here. So there is no turn 7, and that is the end of the game. It's a 3-0 victory for the Kingdoms of Men. Yeah, I would say that we both had our good and bad rolls, but yeah, I would say I rolled better than him. But yeah, I still think that we both talked about it after the game. I think that he could do some things to improve that play. So after talking about it for him, now this is the first time he's played the army, but we both agreed that he was a little aggressive with just kind of charging me. I think that he outsped me and he outranged me. I really think he could have just played his Phoenixes back and just basically played his Phoenixes for the late game and just spent the last 2 or 3 turns of the game just shooting off wherever he wanted to. So I think that, like I said, going forward, he's probably going to be a lot less aggressive with those Phoenixes. I would say for me that the Giants continue to do great. He also felt that his LOI, keeping them together, which I thought is a good decision to keep those LOI together and kind of crush one flank, would also be helpful. Yeah, I suggested some magic item changes. I'd like him to maybe drop one of those Brew of Sharpness or Strength and put that Chalice of Wrath and Headstrong on those 2 Ogre Palace guards so they don't get wavered on 15s. But yeah, all in all, it's very good for him. It's a great army, and I think he's going to do well with it. Yep. So thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2, providing feedback. Like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're in Austin, you can always join the Austin Kings of War. So thank you guys so much.